With our nation, families, children, and churches failing and hurting in so many ways, could there be a solution in the Bible we've been overlooking for ages? Something that could stop the suicides and double or triple a person's capability, confidence, and productivity in life as well. For years, Brother Winston Menzies has been applying his revelation from the Bible never heard of today. A new concept of character building as a commander in the Army, president of a real estate company, a building company, and pastor. It is a new concept of character building that is easy and enjoyable that produces phenomenal results. Amazingly, the success of this system is even guaranteed in the Bible. Now here's Brother Winston to share with you the power of character building.
Good morning. Thanks for stopping by for another session of the power of character building. Wow, it's so powerful, unbelievably powerful. And that's because no one that I've ever met in the 50 years I've studied it has ever created a character trait that they invented themselves. Every character trait comes with power and wisdom and great favor. Wherever you go, it will help you like you would not believe. And so I like to see people really prosper in life. I like to see them. I'm dedicated to helping everyone I can meet to be all they can be, to reach their full potential in life. Isn't that exciting to think that that can happen? And today we're going to be talking about the character trait of being a people person. So important. You know, it's exciting. I've done a lot of exciting things. God's let me do a lot of exciting things. Jump out of airplanes 40 times in a year, lead a couple of rifle companies in a war. That's exciting. You won't fall asleep doing that much. Starting businesses and ministries and building buildings. It's great. But everywhere you go and whatever you do, you're going to meet people. And we can either make them like us and trust us or dislike us and want to get away. All right, so today we're going to be talking about this one very important character trait. And that's one thing for sure. Wherever we go and whatever we do on earth, we're going to have to deal with people on this planet. This being the case, regardless of how difficult some people can be from time to time, we need to see these cases as an opportunity to help them become a better person ourselves, and in it all, learn the joy of being a true friend to everyone. Everyone is a relationship, and we need to enjoy our relationships with others, and that's what makes life what it's meant to be. We can never become a person of the person that God would have us to be without their input and will likewise never accomplish what we are to do in life without their help. No one knows all there is to know about it, but everything we learn about it will help us tremendously. This week's trait will guide us somewhat in the joys, blessings, and benefits of being a people person. A man asked a friend one time, "How's the Lord treating you?" And he said, "The Lord's treating me just fine. It's his people I'm having a hard time with." Well, certainly we've all had our troubles with fellow occupants of the big blue marble, but we all start out in life with a whole lot of rough edges. That's probably why God gave us, most of us, wives, which have sometimes been aptly described as heavenly sandpaper. I know I need mine. There's just some things each of us can do in life that will work extremely well at irritating the hound out of everyone around us. And the sooner we learn what these are and eliminate them from our personalities, the better life is going to be for us because everywhere we go, people are the same. I've lived all over the United States in the military and civilian life, all over many parts of the world. And what I found is if you like people and you like where you are, for the most part, unless you're acting like a half-wit, they'll like you. Now, if you just basically don't like people and don't like where you're living, they'll be only too quick to show you the door, may even give you instructions on how not to let the doorknob hit you when you walk out. I believe everyone should read Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and read it several times. Even though it was written in 1936, it's still really one of the greatest books ever written about the subject of human relations. Well, why is this book not ever getting old? Well, because People are the same today as they were in 1936 and about the same as they were in 1592. Go back as far as you like. But if you rub them the wrong way more than once, look out. The boomerang's probably going to come back and hit you squarely in the back of the head, my friend. Now, as good and as great as this book is, it will not help you if you just basically don't like people. The book is about the psychology of human nature, but you can't put a band-aid on cancer. If you can't fake it, if you don't like yourself and you don't like other folk, it's going to be a problem. Almost everywhere, everyone wants to succeed in life, but few have ever learned the importance of really liking other people. Look at every person you meet and try to find something that you like about them. Just think about a few of the things that you'll be needing during your stay here on the planet. You're probably going to need in this life food, shelter, a job, a paycheck, transportation, someone to love, and a meaningful life, etc. Now, unless you found a hideout somewhere that nobody knows about in the back of a national forest, you're probably going to need these other things and other people. Other people just happen to have all these things that you're going to need. So there was a time when one of the scribes came to Jesus and asked, "What's the first and the greatest commandment?" In other words, what is our basic and most important instruction while living here on planet Earth? He replied, "The first of all the commandments is to love the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all of your soul, with all of your mind, and with all of your strength. This is the first commandment, and the second is like it. The second is to love your neighbor as yourself. There's no other commandment greater than these." Mark 12 and 29. In other words, learn to love God and like yourself, because you can't like anyone else if you don't first love God and like yourself. Now, I didn't say get stuck on yourself or start thinking that you're the greatest gift that ever came down the dusty road, but to like, and even as the Bible says, to love yourself. All the while, most importantly, don't forget, we're still to consider others better than ourselves. Philippians 2 and 3. Every time you meet somebody, look them in the eye, and as you're looking at them and shake their hand, think, I consider this person better than myself. Well, they may not be as educated or have as many obvious gifts or whatever that you have, but there's something in them that makes them a person of importance, and it's important that you respect them. And however you feel about them, they're going to take up on it. They're going to get it. So one thing that will help us to learn the importance of being a people person is getting a firm hold of the fact that none of us knows very much without help from other people. Absolutely not enough to survive, and certainly not enough to thrive while here. About 10 years ago, knowledge doubled, believe it or not, every 12 years. Now it doubles every 12 hours, and we all have so much to learn. However, no one learns very much by accident, and certainly precious little if they aren't at all interested in learning. Therefore, we got to see clearly our need, how truly desperate we are to learn, and how important it is to learn from others who are far wiser than we. It has been said that the greatest treasure overlooked in America is the untapped wisdom of gray haired men and women. Society just seems to discard them for the most part, never asking them to share their treasures of wisdom that was stored up from a lifetime of experience, learning, hard knocks, and study. We just run up on all the same stumps day after day and year after year for some reason. Our generation thinks it's cool to act like you already know everything. No, I believe it's like the wise man said years ago, ignorance is a consequence of being human. Not knowing it is even more atrocious. I did so poorly in high school, partly because of not applying myself, but mostly because I wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer. When I heard that little quote about ignorance, I said, that's for me. It's been a great leap of help to me to immediately declare myself totally ignorant. That was years ago, and I've been learning like a wild man ever since. You see, the Bible doesn't say blessed are the well fed, rich, and famous. It says, "Blessed are they that do hunger and thirst, for they shall be filled." You got to see yourself hungering and thirsting in great need. Have I arrived? No. And yes, I've learned a few things, but I see myself like the beggar Lazarus at the rich man's table, Luke 16 and 20. Every day, I still need God for a little crumb of wisdom off his table just to make it. I still don't know my right hand from the left or how to come in out of the rain, but without my friends, I'd be in great trouble. Thank God I see my great need to learn. I'm truly bankrupt apart from him and his wisdom. Most of my friends know that I stand ready to learn from them. Please help. One of the first rules in relating to people now is, or becoming a people person, is to learn not to interfere, that is, with someone else's means of being happy. If they like eating worms and they've been doing it a long time, leave them alone. I'm certainly not saying that you have to do it, but if they haven't died from it yet, let them eat worms. Don't try to convert them, and don't try to make everybody do things your way to find happiness. Leave them alone. There's no percentage in messing with somebody's means of being happy. Now, it's certainly important that we learn to enjoy interacting with other people. As I mentioned, liking people is not something you can fake. At some point, we got to stop and acknowledge what a blessing it is to have friends and interact with other people. As you know, in prison, to punish people when they get out of line so much has already been taken from them. They don't have any other options, not many others. So the worst thing that they can do to them, short of taking their life, of course, is to put them in solitary confinement. That removes them from the general population so that they can no longer interact with other prisoners, no more going to the mess hall, no more sharing jokes about the guards or going out on the yard or playing gin rummy. For those of us who are free to have all the contact with others that we'd like, it would be well to understand that a large part of our own individual happiness comes from relating to others, seeing their smiling faces, asking how they're doing, and keeping up with their life. Remember their birthdays and special times, being there for them in their time of need. There will never be enough of those times, and they are all so special. Now, one thing that causes some people trouble relating to others is not confronting their mutual problems head on. I often advise people to always put the skunk on the table. Be tactful, but never beat around the bush, acting like there isn't a problem when you know for sure there is one. If you leave the skunk under the table, he is definitely going to start stinking up the place, if nowhere other than in your own mind. Two people can never get along, walk together, enjoy fellowship, or accomplish anything much unless they work out their individual differences for finding understanding and coming to agreement. Like they say, through unity, strength. Believe me, it's worth the temporary trouble and inconvenience to address your problems. And now, another hindrance to our fellowship and enjoyment of relationships with others is sometimes caused by people trying to be someone that they're not. Just be yourself. You are, in fact, the person that God made you to be. Everyone is taken already, other than you. And after that, you go ahead and take yourself. After He made you, He threw away the mold. Trying to be somebody else is just plain impossible. You can and should incorporate the winning things that you see in others that contribute to good interrelations with other people and make these things an integral part of your own personality over time. But you can't imitate someone else. It's fine to be yourself and a whole lot easier. God made you and He loves you, so go ahead on and like yourself. Then people can learn to like the real you. When they see you confident in being the real you, they will actually be drawn to you. They will develop, and developing godly character will also cause others to value you as a person and a friend. Yet another way to enjoy people is to look for and see the good in them. Everyone has at least one gift or talent, some even more than that. Compliment and honestly encourage them in their gift. Just today, my lovely wife, Donna, received a note of thankfulness from one of her friends and a gift of encouragement. The words were so heartfelt, and the card even had little dots of sparkly confetti inside that spilled out on the table when I watched her open it. This is the joy of people liking and enjoying people. So show appreciation, sincere appreciations for another's accomplishments. Be glad for them. Clip an article out of the paper and send it to them with a note saying that you're proud of them and honored to be their friend. Remember their birthdays, compliment good work, and try your best not to be critical. Unless it's obviously important, overlook small offenses and injustices. A Chinese sage once said, always allow the other one to save face. This is not a perfect world we live in. And if you try to make it perfect, you're going to have a big job ahead. In the world, one thing we will all certainly encounter is difficult, hard to get along with people. If we're going to endure successfully all their provocations, we got to see them, excuse me, as our ministry. Their attitude and objectionable personality is often really a cry for help. Sincerely try to be their friend and seek to understand the root causes of their distress. Find something to like about them and show appreciation for their friendship. Some you will be able to help. However, as you know, there's some that you will never really going to be able to get along with. That's why the Apostle Paul said, as far as it's possible with you, and it depends upon you, be at peace with all men. You have to know that some people have problems, hidden sins, and demons that they love so much they won't really give them up. They're not ready. Do the best you can to get along with them, but it's okay if it never turns out to be the best relationship in the world. Some people aren't at peace with themselves, so they have a problem. They can't be at peace with anyone else. However, you can still be a ray of sunshine in their life. Another important part about being a people person is how to handle criticism. No matter what you do, you can count on you're going to be criticized. Somebody is going to not like how that you've upset the status quo. If you did good, you didn't do it. You did it too good. Or if you didn't do it right and you did it bad, you should have done it better or you should have done it their way. Just settle it in your heart. There's, you're going to be criticized no matter what happens in life. Don't let it bother you. Of course, we must not only be willing to hear critiques of others, but I believe we should write them down and put them in a file. Don't just cast them out of hand. Some criticism is beneficial. If you write it down, it gives you a much better opportunity to study these comments and pray over them to see if there isn't something there that you could really be changing and benefit from. You see, we live in a natural body and our mind really doesn't want to hear correction. I think it's called stubbornness. We must also fight off the natural inclination to think that we're always right. Oftentimes we need to change and improve. So we should consider criticism a blessing and receive the good from it as well. Another thing is to realize that there are few things we'll find on our journey in life better than long term friendships, lifelong friendships. Settle it in your mind. You'll never be a good leader if you don't like people and enjoy being around them. It's not so much what they can do for you, but what you can do for them that's important. Never miss an opportunity to be a blessing. We should see our friendship as with everyone as an opportunity to help and encourage them. It's important to see everyone we meet as a lifelong friend. We only go around once, so help everyone that you can. Who knows? Tomorrow, we might actually be the one needing a little help from our friends. So, this week's trait is being a good people person. Ask the Lord to make this part of your character. See, we can all improve by acquiring positive character traits that will bless our entire life as well as our performance for Him. They say if scientists could take all the minerals and compounds out of the human body and sell them on the open market with no deduction for the cost of extraction, we would each be worth about $2.75. Realizing also that each of us is just a sack of protoplasm that's about 95 or 75% water and the rest made completely of dirt, we should hope to be the sum total of our character. What is the character of your heart and life? We all have room for improvement. We should be trying to improve daily. So here's what it means to have the character trait of being a people person. It's truly liking and enjoying the interactions with other people. It's truly seeing the good in others and appreciating their talents and abilities. It's having the joy of encouraging others and their gifts and talents. It's appreciating the opportunity we have to learn from and to serve others. It's the ability to be comfortable in our own skin around other people while at the same time being open to improving our personality. It's having the grace not to interfere with another person's enjoyment. It's enjoying the challenge of difficult people and learning how to help them in life. Now, wherever you go and whatever you do, you'll have an opportunity to share these traits with others, if you will. And the first thing is our family. We can get a copy of this book, Character Trait Journal. It has 190 traits in it. The Bible says in 2 Peter 1, chapter 2, or chapter 1, verses 2 through 15, that if you just change 7 of the fallen characteristics we were born with that are fallen traits in our natural being when we were born for 7 positive traits, the Bible promises us. It's a promise from God. You'll never stumble, never cease to bear fruit, never cease to be productive. You'll make your calling and election sure, and you'll have a grand welcome into heaven. Now, how great is that? And the Bible doesn't tell us just to do this. That would be a mandate from God. It says do it diligently, but it really doesn't even say do it diligently. It says to do this one thing very diligently. Hallelujah. And in this passage, we're promised that we can have grace and peace multiplied to us. How do we need that? How much do we need that? We all need it terribly. And we can have all we want from God. So get a copy of the book. Very easy to have a little discussion with it with your family. Once every 21 days, go over a trait. I'm turning to one right here, which is discipline. And it has a little bit about that, a couple pages. And then it has several bullet points at the end so that you can cut those out, copy them, and put them on your mirror in the bathroom. I like to do it that way. That way, when I'm brushing my teeth and I'm shaving in the morning, I'm reading my character points so that I can practice them. You know, I want to practice them. I want to ask God every day to make this character trait a part of my personality. I want to use it today, Lord, and I want to practice it 21 days because psychologists will tell you that if you practice something 21 days, you can never forget it. It'll go down in a part of your subconscious, and then when a trial or some kind of trouble comes your way, it automatically comes out immediately. It just pops out. You don't even have to think about it. And it'll be there for your benefit. It's going to always pay you dividends. You can go out in the world and you can buy some raw material and you can make a widget or a gadget or whatnot, and you can sell it on the open market. And with it, you can make a profit, but you only get to make that profit one time. But with character, you study it and it pays you back over and over, year after year, time and time again, helps you to be a winner wherever you go and whatever you do. You're operating in the wisdom of God. That same passage in 2 Peter says you can obtain by studying God's character the divine nature. How great is that? What a blessing to have an avenue that God promises us. His word cannot be broken, it will not fail, and you can do the things that God says, and the word will do for you exactly what He said it would do. Now, all kids want to be successful, and my heart goes out to single moms that have several kids. They don't have the money, more than likely, to send them to college or whatever. And some of them are unruly. But you know what? Everybody wants to be better and do better. Young people just don't know how to be better. And if we can show them that this thing, studying character and practicing character, is going to cause them to be a terrific success wherever they go and whatever they do. There was an article came out just recently that said, I think it was 65% of all the major corporations in America have just decided that they're no longer going to require a college education for employment. That's great because you know what? You can go and acquire these character traits and they can make you far more successful than anything else. I remember in the ministry, I was hiring people through employment services, and you wouldn't believe the number of people that were trying to find a job, an entry level job in a work, and they had a $200,000 bank loan they had to service. They couldn't start out in life. They were completely bound by that loan that was just pulling them down like a lead weight. Everything they did, they couldn't even get started. But you can add character traits and it doesn't cost you a thing. You can add character, keep on adding traits, and wherever you go and whatever you do, your children are going to thrive. Years ago when I was a kid, I heard that if you can't drive a nail or a bulldozer, if the one thing you can do is manage people, your future is assured. I said, that's for me. Now, I wasn't any good at driving nails and bulldozers, subsequently learned how to do some of that. But I said, I think that's my way to go. Because everywhere you go in life, there's somebody that needs a project manager. There's somebody that needs a superintendent. There's somebody that needs a store manager. There's a need for leadership everywhere you go. Because just like Paul told Titus, everywhere you go, you need to be setting in order those things that are lacking. And you can't do it without being a people person and having good character traits that pay dividends day in and day out and make life enjoyable. It's fun to be a people person, to like other people, to enjoy working together as a group and make that group where it can really perform. People like to be a part of an organization that's successful. They want to be a part of something that's a winner and want to be a winner themselves. And now we got a way that God promises we'll all be a winner. Nothing will help us any more than that. Of course, we need to receive the Lord first. But, you know, Ankerberg said that 78% of the children born in American homes will lose their faith by the time they graduate from high school or college. Let's don't let that be our children. If they have these character traits, they will not fail. They will never depart from these traits and they'll never depart from the Lord. Thank you again for coming by and God bless you.
Thanks for watching The Power of Character Building. And remember, character makes a winner. Friends, we are totally supported by our partners and so appreciate your help. You can donate with the credit card at creativeministries.us or pick up a book at winstonmenzies.com. Thanks for your support and may God bless you 100-fold. Together we can change the world by changing a person's character one heart at a time.